ready for some idiots talking about shit? Here is Justin, Tony, Destin, Andy. It's that talk.
Let's move on to Janelle's email. She returns with an email this week and says, yes, I dropped the ball and forgot to send an email for episode 16. Not going to make any excuses like Brad makes his million excuses for not sending emails. Thank you for letting me join the show. I had a blast, and I hope to be invited back. She calls you out here, Tony.
Uh-oh.
Tony, if you dress up as a Smurf for Halloween, I will too. So I
am.
Looks like Tony will be a Smurf.
It's that. Honestly, that sounds like a fantasy football bet.
Yeah.
That could be a fantasy football bet. There's a lot of those on the line with this fantasy football, and we'll get into that another time. But definitely looks like Tony's going to be a Smurf again. And if you go back to episode 1, for those of you who missed it, you will see pictures on the YouTube, if you watch it on the YouTube, and us talk about it. Tony dressed up like a Smurf. It has happened. Once before. Twice before. I don't know. How many times have you been a Smurf?
And it will happen again.
You've been
Only
a Smurf
twice.
At least twice, yes. At least twice. So, looks like we might have the revival of the Smurf for Halloween.
We might have a Smurf off.
Janelle continues. Yes, we can have people vote on who is best dressed as a Smurf. Blair, would you like to come in as Papa Smurf?
Negative, Ghost Rider. I'm not Smurfing it.
Janelle continues. Episode 17. I have never pooped or peed in the ocean. I don't find it attractive to poop or pee on my husband.
She's about ready to be a special guest now.
Blair, ever took a shit in the ocean?
No, I have not shat in the ocean.
Okay.
I
I don't
did.
know
I
at
did
this
shit in the
point who would
shower one
admit
time.
to it.
I shit in the shower one time.
Oh, on purpose?
Nah.
It was, well, not really.
It was
Let's put it
after the
this way.
spicy chicken.
I was having some bad stomach troubles. Could have been the spicy chicken. And I had extremely loose bowels for like 36 hours. And I've always heard the phrase that you could shit through a screen door. And I was in the shower and I was like, oh man, I got to crap like right now. And then I had the great debate of should I get out of the shower just to have water leak from my anus, or should I just fucking push it? And I pushed it, and much to my chagrin, there was a nugget there that I then had to make a decision, like, do I pick that up and throw it in the toilet? Do I pick it up and throw it in the trash? Do I fucking waffle stomp it down the drain? Like, I didn't know what to do.
Do I eat it?
I chose not eat it.
Always
You
an
made
option.
the right
just
choice
saying.
there.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Yeah, what'd you end up doing?
I picked it up with my bare hands and placed it into the toilet. And then immediately took the bar of soap and washed my hands.
Now, did you wash everything else prior to this, or are you now using your shit hand to like do your cleaning?
The shit
No.
soap.
No, I mean, I used the soap to wash my hands.
Yeah.
So my hands are now clean.
Now there's shit on the soap.
Yeah, you just rinse that off in the head.
There's something about shit where it's like I would like that bar of soap. Like, that's trash. I'm not using that again. I don't know. Shit. I don't know, man.
Shit.
Shit. It's just so gross. So gross. Ugh. Like piss is different, Like piss, ugh. Yo, 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Show of hands if you've watched it.
I like that we're doing show of hands on a podcast. So now
Yeah.
all the audience is imagining whose hands are in the air.
All right, so
It's
those
an
listening,
imagination station.
so those listening, 2 of us have raised our hands. Who out there wants to send us an email this week that didn't watch it and isn't going to cheat, and try to guess which 2 of the 5 of us have watched it? I'm surprised. I almost blew something. I'm surprised a certain person hasn't seen it. That's one.
I'm really shocked that it's not 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
it should
know
be
one on
what
the
you
way.
guys are talking about.
Why
Google
do you
it.
assume that it's you, bro?
Don't
Like, we should
Google
be
it.
talking about Tony.
Google it.
Who wants to explain it? Does somebody want to explain it, or do you want to take a week?
2
Do you-
girls, 1
1
cup.
Do you want to take a week and figure it out, or do you want somebody to
Yeah.
tell you right now?
I think we should. I think you guys should come back to this. I
We
think
might
this is a
have-
good revisit.
We might
I've
have to bring
stood-
Blair in just for this part of it next week.
I've stood behind a laptop and watched somebody kind of watch it. So like they're kind of facing me watching it. So I got to like watch somebody's reaction, but I was behind the fucking soundtrack is creepy as fuck by itself anyway. I mean, like it's just some weird ass song, dude. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've been in the room when it's been watched, but I haven't seen it. So I don't want to like have to scrub my fucking brain. You know, you guys like. Well, I can't really ask questions because then they'll answer and you'll know who it was. But I'm just wondering, those that have seen it, like, do you think about? I'm wondering if those people like think about it every once in a while, or now that I brought it up, you're like, fuck, I just thought about it. You know?
Now, I don't think it's something that somebody would think about on a daily basis.
No.
See, that's what I was worried about, like having seen it. Because I've seen some like true crime stuff where like every once in a while I'll just think of something and I'm like, fuck, I wish I didn't learn that. You know? And like, I'm just
for
wondering,
example,
Yeah.
example, have you ever seen the documentary on Netflix, "Don't Fuck with Cats"?
oh my god,
You ever
yeah,
seen it?
Yeah,
Heard
Okay.
of it,
Yeah.
never seen it.
If you have not seen it, I would recommend not fucking watching it
right.
because
So
it
you're
is the
telling
most.
me to watch it.
I'm serious right now. Like, if I had a time machine and I could go back to tell young BP, don't watch this. Like, I'm not fucking with you. Like, don't watch this
Yeah.
shit. Like, I wanted to have watched it because it is the most fucked thing I have ever watched.
Yeah. And what bothers you the most? Like, you a cat person? Like enough where like you're like go get his fucking head, or is it like
No,
what
no,
he did to
no.
the person?
I'm an animal person.
Yeah.
I'm an animal person, so I like animals
Yeah.
of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I
I especially
prefer-
like cats.
I prefer dogs. Like, I think dogs are pretty rad, but
Is
like,
this like a horror series or?
Oh no! This is so. Let's give a little context on this.
Doc.
So what is it?
It's a doc. As
Yeah,
they
it's
say.
a documentary. Yeah, it's a documentary or a doc, if you will, as the kids say nowadays.
If you're as cool as me,
The cool folks call it a doc.
A doc.
I don't have time
which-
for that shit. Yeah.
But it's a documentary about a guy who posted fucked up videos on the interwebs of him fucking with cats. And this whole group of people banded together to find out who this sick fuck was.
Yeah. He did something else to a person later, but the reason why people were so emphatically enthralled in getting him was because of what he did to cats. So he started with cats. Usually, like the
Now,
typical thing, like serial killers.
I know Blair says don't watch it, but I like documentaries.
No,
I
you
love
can
documentaries.
you can probably watch it. I think he's more or less like telling people like that probably can't get over that kind of stuff as easy. Like, you know, use caution. But I think Andy, you'd be okay. You're fucked up enough.
Like, it's
See,
one of
he's
those
telling
things.
me not to do something. That makes me want to go do it.
But back to Justin's point of, do people think about two girls, 1 cup, like on a regular basis? Like, this don't fuck with cats. I thought about this every fucking day for like 6 months, and then I'd go, wow, that's fucked.
Yeah. See, I was worried about that because I didn't want that to be with me. I'm not saying like not obviously it's an exaggeration to say like you wake up thinking about it if you've watched it, but you know, once you know it, it's kind of in your brain, and you're kind of concerned like, and if something like triggers you to like thinking about it, like you hear a cat or something, like, oh, that fucking documentary about the cats, you know. Just didn't want that with the 2 girls, 1 cup thing, so I haven't watched it. don't even know if you can find it anymore.
I don't
I guess
know.
Andy will tell
Tony-
us next week.
Tony, have you watched Cats?
Yeah, I watched that. So yeah, it is pretty fucked up what he did to those cats. All those people trying to chase him down.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's
a lot of
There's
good
some good
ones on there.
documentaries.
Like I had stepped away from Netflix for a while because there was just shit on there. There was
Oh my God.
fucking
Yeah.
shit. So flipped it on the other day, and it seems like there's a lot of good shit that I want to watch. I added a bunch of stuff to my list now. You know, I watched the thing about Manti Te'o and his
Yes.
I saw that.
non-existent girlfriend.
That's a great one.
That poor dude, man. I wouldn't think for a second he was involved. I just think he was catfished.
100%.
Yeah. But like what they did to that guy?
You were catfished for how fucking long and couldn't figure this the fuck out?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, I could see how it could happen. Because, like, can I give away, like, the real killer part at the end? Like, the real kicker?
Yeah.
Can I give that away?
Yeah, sure.
Kicker.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the Manti Te'o thing,
Skip
Like-
to
I think
Yeah.
everybody, most people know the story of Manti. So.
Yeah.
so here's
Skip.
a part of the story that I didn't know that really fucked with me, right? So girlfriend dies, allegedly. Okay. Alleged girlfriend allegedly dies. Okay.
Mhm.
Then sometime later, she reaches back out to him because he was getting catfished, just for context here. He was getting catfished by a fellow. This fellow reaches back out to Manti Te'o as the deceased girlfriend and says, "Hey, I'm not really dead, da 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 da." And he's like, "Wait a minute, this is fucked up. Like, this doesn't make sense. Send me a picture of like these specific things. Like, I want the date on
Yes.
it. I want this. I want that. I want this." And he gets the fucking picture.
right.
Like,
Of the
that's the
girl.
most fucked shit of the whole fucking deal to me.
Like, yeah, the girl-
what
yeah,
I
you don't
didn't
even have to say
understand
anything
about
more than
is
that.
The girl,
Did it.
like, yeah, I can't believe the person that was pretending to be this person got
Knew the girl.
the other
Yeah.
person whose picture she was stealing. He was stealing. I don't even know at this point. She,
Well,
right.
it's there's a thing in the beginning, and if you want to get canceled, here we go. There's a thing in the beginning that says something about sex change person. We didn't know. Did you guys catch that in the beginning?
Yes, I
I'm
did
trying to
notice
follow that. Trying to follow the
Yes.
politics of that, but we didn't
So
know that
it says the
he or
people
she.
that were involved in filming this at the time did not know that the person who is doing the catfish now, not then, now,
Right.
identifies as a transgender woman.
Correct.
So I would think, for editorial purposes, either or. You know, you would think. But this is where we can get canceled because somebody's going to say, well, Justin, you're so fucking insensitive. How would you not? I don't know. For editorial sake, it'd be like if Andy did something when he was named Andy, and then 10 years later he changed his name to Jack O'Lantern, I would expect to be reading something about Andy this, Andy that, Andy this, not Jack O'Lantern. You know, so I think that was it. But yeah, spoiler alert, he is a she now. And so I was confused because I walked out of the room to brush my teeth or something. I came back, and then there was a woman talking, and I knew it was about a guy, a catfish, another guy. I'm like, who the fuck is this? You know? And I'm like, I had to rewind, and I'm like, oh, like I was so confused because I left for a few minutes. But yeah, we'll probably get canceled for our lack of awareness with the pronouns.
Well, if you
game or
even,
whatever, so.
I started today, but I fell asleep. But even if you watch the Caitlyn Jenner one, there's a Caitlyn Jenner one, part of the same Untold series on Netflix. And Caitlyn Jenner is talking about Bruce.
Okay.
like as
that
a
part-
different person.
Correct. And that is very interesting to me. So
Mm-hmm.
in that, and I've seen part of that. I haven't seen the whole thing yet because, like Andy said, I fell asleep as well. But like Caitlyn, which is now, by the way, I'm not passing judgment or anything like this, but it's extremely fucking interesting to me that Caitlin refers to Bruce as A, another person, and B, as another person that does not exist any longer.
And as a character that Caitlin created. If you listen to it at the beginning, Caitlin says Bruce was a character she created.
Very interesting to me.
See, now that would just, being careful enough, like in a different time when everything kind of flew a different way, like that would be taken as some kind of whatever that word is, like split personality like situation. Right. Like the way that they like would refer to somebody. Like there's that movie, the John Cusack movie, Identity. You ever watched it? Where, like, spoiler alert, you find out like every character's made up and it's just one person with personality disorder.
That's like Fight Club.
But like yeah.
Fight Club or Usual Suspects?
Yeah, something like that, where like, you're allowed to look at something like as you are, how you look at the world, and like it's like now you have to be careful with like how you say something, because like this tiny cluster of people is like, now I might be offended. Like I don't even think like there are any rules set in stone. I think every person that's embarking in that situation of like life-changing stuff is like, I don't know, like I don't think you guys need to be here with me, but like it's confusing to everybody, including me. So something like the Caitlyn Jenner thing, I wouldn't even watch it just because like I'm not interested. I didn't care for him as an Olympiad. I don't care for him as a woman. I just don't. I wouldn't watch it. So, what made you guys interested in watching it?
So I'm interested because I'm interested in that whole deal. Like,
you were the top athlete in the world,
right? And
as a man,
yeah. And then something.
And then now he's a character.
Right, Bruce is a character now.
So Bruce got on the Wheaties box, but that's just a character invented by somebody else.
Correct.
Right.
But we've been Caitlyn this entire time, but we played the role as Bruce for a period of time, and now that character, it's kind of like in a TV series, like that character's died off, and now this character is the one that's leading. It's very interesting to me.
And one would say that, back when they just threw everybody like this into an asylum, that like you're crazy and like whatever, and now it's like, oh, well, I can't really say it's crazy. I should be more sensitive. And it's like, no, I'm allowed to feel like that's like,
well, the
like
other
Scooby-Doo.
like the other interesting part about it to me is like listening to somebody talk about like the way their mind works, because I think
process on this.
Yeah, like I think the human brain is a very interesting thing, and like listening to how somebody thinks through a process is extremely fascinating to me, because we all do it differently. And for example, like Caitlyn knew her whole life that she was Caitlyn. Maybe it didn't have a name, right? But she knew that she was a woman trapped inside a man's body. Like this is like how the brain works, right? And it makes me think of things like, well, what if like one day, and I'm not trying to make jokes. Like I'm being serious. Like this is not satire here. But what if one day you, Mr. Shades, decide, hey, I've been a female my whole life, and I've just been playing this character as a man, and I want to now live to be the female that I want to be. Like, I'm curious as to, like, the switch. Like, that's the part that really intrigues me, is, like, how did Caitlyn know that, like, we're done with Bruce, like, Bruce has served his purpose, like, I'm going to be full on Caitlyn. Like, that switch is like, because there's a lot of people, like, I mean, think about over the years, all of the people, right? Like, J. Edgar Hoover allegedly was a cross-dresser, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, bring J. Edgar Hoover to 2022, would he be a transgender person? Or is he like a cross-dresser, or is he in drag or whatever? Like, none of this really, like, I don't really care what box we try to put somebody in. That's the least important part of the whole thing. But like that mentality is very entertaining to me. And not entertaining as in like I want to sit and laugh and poke fun. Like
I want to understand it.
I'm genuinely curious. Like, for example, like when I was talking to a guy last week who was in a wheelchair and he had a service dog. And I started with, can I ask you questions about your service dog? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, okay. Now, I'm not trying to make fun or be rude or anything like that. I'm 100% ignorant on this subject. I'm just looking for information. So if I say something that's a little fucked up, like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm 100% ignorant and trying to learn. So that's where I am on this whole, like, Caitlin Bruce thing, you know, all of this stuff. Like, I'm just fascinated by it. And I like all of these things just intrigue me.
I'm the same way. It intrigues me.
Yeah, I think that's because it's like a lot of things, right? When you have any subject matter that somebody isn't accustomed to, like, you know, over in, you know, Buddhists or whatever, they worship cows. Here we eat them. You know, like...
Yep.
So, like, that whole culture or mentality or thought process, when you're not used to that, and it's different to you, it's hard to understand. And I think trying to have a... Sometimes you could try and have a conversation about it with somebody. And like, just like Blair said about a service dog, try to have a conversation with somebody about it may offend that person because they think you're coming off as whatever, but you're just trying to learn. And I will give you an example, 100% example, okay? A friend of mine has they. I want to get this right because I'm, again, trying to learn, right? I'm trying to get, you know, respect the, you know, their lifestyle or whatever. They have a they. Okay. While I was spending time with this friend, I was trying to get a mentality, and this is their child, okay? So you're going to be very protective of your child. I understand that, right? 100% I understand that. But as I was trying to gain an understanding, the friend got very pissed off and just told me to shut my fucking mouth.
Which I mean, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as long as everybody is from the same understanding, right? Like, so, you know, I don't know any of you well enough to know some sort of what I would consider strange. Now, mind you, strange is based on my perception, right? Mm-hmm. Something that I find strange, you might think is perfectly normal, and vice versa, right?
Yep.
But, you know, if, you know, like, I don't know, I can't think of an example, right? But if I think if both people come from a point of respect and say, hey, I'm trying to learn about this. Like, let's use something as trivial as Bitcoin, like something nobody's going to get pissed off about. Let's use Bitcoin as example. And let's say you're a fucking expert Bitcoiner and I don't know fucking shit about Bitcoin. And I know this is not as sensitive as a subject, but if I come to you and say, hey, Andy, out of respect, I don't know anything about Bitcoin or whatever the issue is. I know you have quite a bit of experience with it. Can I ask you some questions respectfully because I'm ignorant to the subject?
Like, why are you
and
investing
you
in a fake currency? Like, that doesn't exist?
Correct. Correct. So,
I mean, that would be my question. But it would be. Why are you investing in a currency that doesn't exist? There's no physical Bitcoin.
You don't get nothing for it.
Right. Like NFTs make fucking zero sense to me, by the way.
So
yeah,
here's
NFT
the thing. So we've all talked about how you know, the reason Justin and I know each other is because we went to church together, did the whole church retreat thing together. Okay,
Right.
and there's people out there that don't believe in God because they don't see it, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Can't see it,
Yep.
don't believe in it.
100%.
But those same people will believe in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yep. But
Fucking
but
blow
the
my
thing,
mind. Blow my mind.
but once again, like I just said in my previous statement, something strange to you is your perception, and something strange to them is completely different.
Right. So anyway, let's move on. Get through this email of Janelle's, and we'll get.
Yeah, Janelle kind of stirred the
hopefully
pot
get
a
on
little
to
bit.
our topics. Yeah, she's stirring shit.
P.S.
but-
I was away when Janelle was on. I just want to say that was a good episode, and thanks for being on. And it's cool. That's all.
One of the parts of that we didn't touch on the last part of what I read is I don't find it attractive to poop or pee on my husband. Blair, have you ever been pooped or peed on by a woman?
Yeah, that one woman in Montreal.
Yeah,
like,
that one woman in Montreal.
Definitely not pooped on. I've probably been peed on.
Like in a sexual manner, like on purpose?
No, like in
Like
the shower.
you took the golden shower?
No, like in the shower, like you're showering with your lady, and like I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in the shower, I oftentimes have to fucking pee in the shower.
this is exactly my story too.
And so fucking you just pee. And I
You're
was
right,
dating a
right.
girl, and a yellow. She noticed a yellow river because I was in the back, of course. Like I wasn't getting prime shower time. I was in the back freezing, and then
Right, so
like
keep
there's
yourself warm with your piss.
correct. So I pee, and she's like, "Oh, that's fucking disgusting." And she's like, "What if I would piss on you?" I'd be like, "We're in the fucking shower. Like fucking live your life, chick." If that's what you gotta do.
Now's the time.
Like,
Now's the time.
I don't fucking care. Piss on, pisser.
So that was
Yeah.
that was a subject last week about people that are into that in a sexual way. And again, that goes to what is weird to me might not be weird to you.
Yeah, I'm kind of out on that. Like, I think Dookie plays a little fucking strange.
Yeah.
It's fucking strange to me. Like, the
I
pee
think-
thing's a little weird for me.
I think you're not having enough fun with sex, and I kind of look at those people weird. You know, like why? You know, did you do it too much? Did you like wear the fun out of it? Like that you have to like shit on each other now?
Is it one of those things that it progresses though? Is it like a gateway drug? Like, does it start with like, I'm gonna slather peanut butter on your tits, and then like, oh, peanut butter's no longer fun. Let's go to extra chunky peanut butter, and like, oh, this
Get
isn't
that
fun
dog
anymore.
out of here.
Let me just fucking squat and shit on your chest. You know what I mean? Like, how do you fucking get there? Like, do
Yeah,
you
it's
just
like
leave
drugs.
the Olive
It's
Garden
like a
one
slippery
night?
slope. You know.
Yeah, I
gotta
don't
be
think
careful.
you leave the Olive Garden one night after unlimited breadsticks and be like, all right, honey, you know what we're doing? I'm pooping on you tonight.
Yeah, like I don't think those people like, you know, are on bowling leagues and shit. You know, like I don't think like those people like I think those people like wear dark clothes and you don't usually see them out unless like, you know, like it's their brother's band or something. But like I just think those people are like fucking like vampires. People that do that shit, you know,
So
like they're not
there
like
is a-
otherwise normal at the Olive Garden, you know.
I've
There
never
is a
actually
name for it.
understood
But
what.
there's a name for it. Janelle told us what the name of this is.
How the hell does she know what it?
Fecophiliacs?
It
I know
is
when a
called
metaphile likes throw up.
Coprophilia is the term you were looking for. People who have a serial fetish with poop.
There you go.
I might
What
have to
about
have
if you
a
have a-
conversation with Janelle tonight and figure out how the hell she figured this out besides Google.
She probably looked it up during that email.
There's a lot of stuff that in this email that you're going to have a conversation with your wife about.
I might have to just pull her in here so she can educate us, I guess.
She's not a fan of reboots, which we talked about,
Yeah.
which we're not a fan of. Agree with.
I mean, who the fuck is? Seriously.
And she agrees with us we talked about this at length, making shows about race, sexuality, etc. And I touched on the new League of Their Own series on how, one, if you're going to make a series about the movie, stick to the fucking movie. But I've still only watched an episode and a half. I've not watched any more yet. I haven't had a chance to, but first
Andy.
episode and a half, yes.
I watched a trailer after last week. Absolutely fucking not. Okay. Absolutely not.
In the first episode and a half, okay, the first thing you're introduced to is a black girl wanting to make one of the teams. And how she's booted out because she's black. So we're starting the episode off on the race card. Okay.
Starting it out on my white guilt.
And then we're next as we go through, half the team is lesbians.
Probably accurate nowadays.
That's what I said. I said as a joke last week, I was like, I just assumed like all female athletes are lesbians.
But they made the one girl that they introduce you to as a husband in the war, okay, and is there and didn't tell her husband she was going to the tryouts. Okay, they start to turn her into a lesbian in episode 1.
Which is fucking bullshit, because you said that this is the character whose husband is fighting, right? And
Yeah.
she's like cheating on her fucking veteran husband. Like,
Right.
like that's like, didn't you say like I guess she's got pictures being texted to everybody, huh?
And we talked about how, yes, we understand how that era, the culture was, there was a very racial, it was very racial back then, right? And we understand that. But in the movie, you're making a series based on the movie. We didn't have this. So why are we starting off on that episode 1 with a race issue? We all understand that it was wrong back then, and that's what they did. But it wasn't in the movie.
I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Are they going along with the movie, or are we making a series that is completely dumb? Oh my God, that's twice.
4 times, dude. You're being too nice to me. 4 times. Sorry. It hurts my ear every goddamn single time. Move this over.
So, like, Blair, what's your thoughts on that? Like, taking something, rebooting it, because if you look at, like, the reboot of Saved by the Bell, right? It's the same way. They're adding in these cultural issues of today in a reboot of the series. Same thing with the Punky Brewster thing. Okay, in the Punky Brewster reboot. Okay, Punky Brewster's now a adult. She's the mom, but they have a boy who wants to be a girl. So every time we're rebooting something, we're adding these cultural things that are going on today.
So, to stick with A League of Their Own, okay? I had to go to the Googler to get some information because, you know, a lot of movies are based on books, which are based on historic fact, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm on the Wikipedia page of A League of Their Own, and it starts off with it's a 1992 American sports comedy drama film that tells a fictionalized account of real-life All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. For those of you scoring at home, that's the AAGPBL. So I don't know how it's
fictional, but based on a true story. I mean, this happened.
Correct. So it's. I really want to say it. I really want to say it, but I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
What is it?
Well, there's another movie that's fictionally based on a true story, but apparently that ends the podcast, so I'm not going to bring it up yet.
Oh, okay. You could say Benjamin Button, same writer, same shtick. If that's interesting enough.
I never
So-
saw it.
Well,
I was
all the listeners
amazed.
know what you mean by that, though.
Yeah.
Just don't say it. We all know what you mean.
Yeah,
by
I'm not gonna say it.
Well, I was amazed that Benjamin Button was based on a book from the same author, and I'm like, he fucking did the same thing twice. Because Benjamin Button is like, here's this fictional
we're
character
towing a
going
line
through.
here.
I know.
So that author is
Yeah.
basically AC/DC. They just did
Yeah.
the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, I mean,
Right.
It works.
there was definitely a similarity to that film when I was watching Benjamin Button. I'm like, this is like he's like this character, but in this movie, and like everything that's in history is going around him, and he's like, oh, I'm here, and it's like, wouldn't you know? I fucking found out it's the same like author, and I'm like, this fucking guy, what a shtick that guy has.
So here, like, I don't have strong feelings on A League of Their Own. Okay, so like, it was a good movie back in '92. All right, some great actors and actresses in this movie, all-star cast, and it's telling a fictionalized account of a real life thing. Okay, so I think the interpretation of the movie. The screenplay was written by Lowell Gans and Babaloo Mandel, based on a story from Kelly Candeli, whatever, and Kim Wilson. Just giving all the shout outs that need to be, I'm a bit of a name dropper. So I think if you were to remake this today, seeing that this is an interpretation of fictionalized accounts, I don't really see a whole lot of problem of bringing in things that have been brought to light in 2022 that weren't necessarily things that were talked about in a sports comedy drama in 1992. Does that make sense? Are you following? Are you picking what I'm putting down? So here's what I'm saying. So this was based, what was it, 1943? This movie? Prompting a flashback to 1943 World War II. Okay, yeah.
That's what it says for the TV show too.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, lesbians were around in 1943, right? Like, is that safe to assume? Can we safely assume that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but 1943 lesbians and 2022 lesbians and LGB, the whole spectrum, right? Like, I'm not trying
the whole
to
community.
The whole community, right? Like, I'm not trying to single anybody out here. Stick with me on this thought. 1943 lesbians compared to 2022 lesbians are completely different. Now, I don't know.
Or what?
Well,
they
what
were
I'm
probably
saying is,
they were probably married and in the closet. Right?
correct. So what I'm saying is acceptability of society. Now, I wasn't alive in 1943, so I don't fucking know. I was born in 1946, so like I can't speak to 43. But I'm guessing we didn't have pride parades and we didn't have Pride Month and people didn't have rainbow bumper stickers on their cars and all of the for lack of better terms, openly gay things that are acceptable now in society. So when you remake something from 1992 that was based on 1943 and you remake it in current days, like, I don't think it's a far stretch to believe that it was possible, and I'm just basing on possibilities, Your Honor, that it's possible that there could have been some lesbians in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League.
There's
just
literally.
Go ahead.
And that's such a valid point. But I think our point, and it was League of Their Own, but there's so many others that you can talk about reboots on things that every time we reboot something, we're adding these cultural issues. And sometimes you just want to watch a TV show from back in the day that you liked and watch a reboot and just relax and not have to think about all the garbage that goes on in the world today.
Well,
you want to forget about the fact you were at like a Food Lion and somebody admonished you for not using the right pronoun. So you want to go home and fucking escape and watch a show. That's not the same exact bullshit you deal with every day.
No,
I
I'm
get
with
that.
you, but art imitates life. And what
Well,
I'm saying is that if you look at the TV and film culture as a whole, it's very, very young compared to society. Okay.
Yep.
So, but what I'm saying, and the point that I'm trying to make here is maybe in 1992, now I don't know, we'd have to go dig up my grandparents and ask them, right? But maybe in 1992, this shit was fucking radical to be portraying 1943. So, like, in this movie, there was like Madonna was smoking and cussing and like being Madonna, if I remember correctly. I don't, I haven't seen the film recently.
she was like a hussy, yeah. Like she
Right,
was very.
she was a bit of a loose lady, if you will. Right.
Right.
So, but like, if my grandparents watched this in 1992, who were definitely around in 43, maybe they watched this and they were like, why does everything have to be like the same? Like, and I'm not trying to discredit your point, but maybe they make the same point as what you're making is, why is everything got to be modernized? Why does Madonna have to be a loose lady? Why does she got to smoke? That's not exactly how it was back in the day. Why do they got to fucking gin it up for the new era? And I don't know. I'm just trying to make a point here that, do I agree that we need to expose our younger generation to the homosexual community at whatever age we choose to expose them to this? Probably not. Do we need to expose them to racial differences at whatever age that we're choosing to expose our children to this? Maybe not, right? Like, I'm not a parent, so I can't judge this. I can't walk a mile in a man's shoes that don't fit, right?
So with that point, if we're doing that, and let's just put racial issues into that, and we're exposing our young children to racial issues, does that not create a more racist society?
So now,
because if I have a child who's innocent and they're growing up in my household, and I'm not judging anybody, and I'm just sending them off to school to be friends with whoever they want to be friends with and hang out with whoever they want to be hang out with, but then they're being taught that, oh well, there's differences between some people think white people are racist against black people, some people think black people are racist against Chinese people, some people think Chinese people are racist against Russians, like that puts that in their head.
Yeah, it's almost like the 2 girls, 1 cup thing. It's like, now you heard about it, you're like, I'm being told not to watch it, but I kind of want to. It's like,
right. So
now it's like at the forefront of like thinking like, well, is that an issue? Like, somebody's telling me it's an issue. Like, I was never told it was an issue. It was never brought to my attention.
So to what Justin just said, like, I feel like I have a fairly unpopular opinion about this. And I feel like making a big deal out of certain things perpetuate stereotypes and prejudices. So, like, for example, okay, the NFL had their first female referee just recently, past couple of years. What's it been?
Yep.
No more than 5, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think it's fucking great that there's now been a female referee in the NFL. I'm fucking cool with that. Like, I have no beef with that. But making such a large to-do... Now, mind you, this is coming from a middle-aged white American male, okay? Which is probably the least discriminated group of people in this country. I fucking get that. So it's really easy for me to sit here and say shit like this. I fucking get that. And I try to be as sensitive to this as I can. But making a big fucking deal of, oh, she's the first female, and, all these things, blah, 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 I think stirs the shit a little bit. Same with, like, now Jackie Robinson Day, I have no fucking beef with Jackie Robinson Day. That's fucking fine. Like, I've got no problem with that. Like he was
But
a trailblazer.
But that was a historical thing, right? Like he broke the barrier. It's not like we have to say now, the Phillies drafted their first Asian player ever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just one team. But like he was the one, right?
Right, but NASCAR did the same thing just a few months ago or a few weeks ago when Daniel Suarez won the race in Sonoma.
Yes.
The first Mexican driver to ever win a cup race. The first Mexican driver. They said
Doesn't
it
matter.
233.
Doesn't matter what his ethnicity is. He won
No,
a cup
it makes
race.
it makes no fucking difference. If Daniel Suarez is from fucking Mexico or fucking Madrid or fucking Manitoba, I think I think there's a fine line between awareness of issues and consistently stirring the shit. And I think overall, as a country, as a society, we have crossed the line more times than not into stirring the shit than to bring awareness to something.
Right. I agree.
So I see where you're coming from on this, on the A League of Their Own. I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from, and for some parts of it, I agree with you. But on the flip side of art imitates life, I don't think it's completely out of the box, if that's fair to say.
And we talked about this too, like politics and sports. Like I want to sit down and watch a football game, or I want to sit down and watch a baseball game. Like I don't need Bob Costas telling me his political views.
Correct. I don't care what Bob Costas' political views are. I'm not a political person, so I don't care what anybody's political views are, right? Whatever you're into, don't fucking infringe on me. You know what I mean? Just don't infringe on me. Let me enjoy my freedoms by not having to suffer through listening to your point, right? Now, and I understand there's listeners.
It's propaganda when they do it.
Correct. And I understand there's listeners and viewers of this podcast. I fucking get it. But here's the deal. If you don't like what's being talked about on this podcast, and I'm not trying to run away listeners or viewers, but you have other fucking choices of shit to do. On Sunday Night Football, when I want to watch the Bears beat the shit out of the Packers, I don't have a whole lot of other fucking choice. So if Bob Costas wants to run off at the mouth about fucking what the fuck ever, I'm pretty much a sucker into listening to this shit.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. Let's Justin should
Real quick though. I looked up lesbians on Wikipedia, and I noticed there's like a whole section called World War II. I just thought that was pretty weird.
Okay.
I thought he was there.
Maybe they're being more historically accurate than the original movie was, and I was wrong. And I can admit when I was wrong. And maybe they're going to do a better job at portraying the historical facts.
We don't know.
I'm just saying, as a reboot, every time we reboot something, we have to bring up the social issues.
Well, see, the thing is with the reboot thing, I know we're going somewhere else, but in my mind with the reboot thing, we're all at that age where we all saw the originals. We all lived it. And now they're rebooting it to current culture. And to me, it bothers some of, middle-aged guys, people, and stuff like that.
Dude, if they reboot Smokey and the Bandit with a fucking Honda Civic, I'm going to riot. I'll tell you that shit right fucking now.
But you know what I mean, though? They're rebooting stuff, and we're looking at it like, okay, look at Jurassic World. I mean, they've done great with them. But, would I rather watch the original Jurassic Park? Yeah. Over the Jurassic Worlds, I'd rather watch Jurassic Parks. But I grew up on it. I don't know. It's just they added the new culture in all these movies and our TV shows. And to me, us older generation people, maybe it's just different to us. But
so
I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
Finishing this email, Justin, I love the pictures and the video of the racetrack. It was really cool. So Janelle gives you a shout out on the video you put together of Myrtle Beach. That was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
I enjoyed it too. She sends us dad jokes because we did ask everybody to send us some dad jokes, and Brad sent them some too. I decided not to read his because he attempted some when he was a host on here and they were terrible. So we just skipped over those. But we'll read Janelle's real fast. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
I know that one.
Can I answer? Yeah, go ahead, Blair.
It would be the C.
Yeah, because you're supposed to say R, right? Be like, you
Yes.
think it's R, but it'd be the C.
True love is the C.
And what do you call an alligator in a vest?
Anybody know that one?
No, you can't answer, Dustin.
I
Tony,
don't know that one.
what's an alligator in a vest?
No
I
clue.
feel like it's like some smart ass answer. Like,
It is.
It is an investigator.
A vest?
Yes, it is in a vest. Investigator.
Investigator.
Yeah, I get the vest and thing, but you could just say, what do you call an alligator? Fuck, I don't know. You have to describe. You have to describe like what a PI would wear. Well, like what you have to think of like what a PI would dress like, and then you would say because you don't need the vest wordplay in it, to make the investigator joke. What do you call an alligator
That's a spy.
that solves a murder? Yeah.
If an alligator was
more?
on Magnum PI, what would he be?
There you go. He'd be driving a fucking what did he drive? What kind of car? Testarossa or something?
Anybody else out there want to send us some dad jokes? We love them. Send them. backtalkus@gmail.com. That's backtalkus, BACC Talk, US@gmail.com. Let us know. We're back talking you back talk us.
I think Tony's falling asleep.
He is.
No, he's not feeling good.
Fucking drugged as shit. So I want to get into something that we didn't get into last week, but we're gonna get to that in just a minute. We have to get to it because I think it's a fun topic. But I do have a question for Blair, real fast. Do you have any dirty song lyrics that you would like Justin to sing for you today?
Oh, he's gonna sing them?
Yeah, I'll even get the guitar out.
I wasn't prepared.
That's all right.
that
As long as I've heard, as long as I know the song, I could play it. It's like if you told me to play Panic at the Disco, it came out last year, I'd be like, fuck that and no. But if you're like, play I Really Love Your Peaches, Want to Shake Your Tree, I'm like, yes, everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Hey, give me a second. Let me see.
So
I
now
didn't know we
Blair
had
is
a.
now delaying the podcast, which Justin, be ready. I did tell Blair that he had to have something for this, and now he's not prepared. So that pisses me off, Justin. That really just it pisses me off.
Well, I didn't know that we were going to a musical interlude. I thought we were just going to throw things out there, like dirty song work.
I don't know shit about wrestling or sports or NASCAR, so I have to. I'm contractually obligated, to contribute this way.
Tony's
Otherwise,
job
you guys
is to not talk.
Tony is the fucking
job sitting there.
Tony's the fucking linchpin of this thing. He doesn't know it.
So what about like Bubbly by Colby Calais?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't even know what that is. Which one was the artist and which one was the song?
Colby Calais.
While we're waiting on Blair, and you have the guitar ready, can you play a little bit of Karate Frog for us?
No, I told you that song is in the ether of nowhere. I have no idea what I did for that song. I can only tell you I remember certain parts of the lyrics, and that was it. But I'm sure it was like a basic.
Can you sing part of the lyrics then?
Yeah, if anybody watching wants to send me quarter-inch cables, I am short. I'm using the same 1/4-inch cable that I'm using on the keyboard. So just jibber jab away about Karate Frog for a second while I stand up and get this cord.
Well, so Blair, you
Hi-ya.
may or may not know about Karate Frog, but it was the hit song that Justin and I played at the church retreat, which sent the panties and the bras flying on stage. So they yanked us off the stage because they did not want a whole bunch of naked Christian young ladies at the church retreat. So
are we looking for things like the summer of '69, like something to the effect of like the lyric, standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever, and when you held my hand, I knew it was now or never? Like, are we looking for things like this?
yeah, like hidden dirt things you go, I loved that song at one point, but now I'm like, oh shit. Like that's what they're talking about. Like
And not so obvious like Sex and Candy. Like the one from last week, really love your peaches, want to shake your tree, which if you're watching Face Off, a peach is a vagina, but if you're talking about that song, peaches are boobs, I guess. Or ass.
So maybe like Aerosmith's Walk This Way, I met a cheerleader, was a real young bleeder. All the times I can reminisce. The best thing loving with her sister and her cousin. Are we talking about things like this?
Yeah, I don't know if that's as hidden, though.
Oh, we're going for more hidden, more subtle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every time Steven Tyler opens his mouth, he's singing about sex. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. Sounds good.
So what was the song, Andy? I forget already. Oh, Karate Frog, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a... That's got to be something simple like that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the lyrics.
I thought you knew some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
He's a karate frog.
Karate Frog. Oh, I'm sorry. The Virginia. Ready? Christian Frog. Yeah. Whose panties are these? Wait, I've been like this. Whose panties are these? Okay, so what was the one? We're gonna try just for shits and giggles. We're gonna try Walk This Way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty dirty.
I mean, they do play it on the radio, so they must not know that he's talking about. Like, it's not like that. Who's that song? Like, they're just really obvious about it. Like, well, besides all rap songs right now, but there's like a song that's like, "I like your pants around your feet."
Yeah, that'd be Nickelback. That'd be Nickelback. Greatest Canadian band.
Oh my God,
ever.
What? So you're a Nickelback fan?
It's the second time Nickelback's been brought up on this podcast, so this podcast should be the #1 download podcast of all time.
So everybody famously hates Nickelback. Care to weigh in on that? Being a fan of them?
Okay, so like people hate Nickelback for the same reason people hate like Tom Brady and Kyle Busch and anybody like LeBron James, like anybody that's super fucking great, there's going to be haters on. And I don't think people really, I think they love to hate how brilliant Nickelback is as a band because they're one of the greatest fucking rock bands of all time.
I would tell you our wedding song was a Nickelback song.
Yeah, as it should be. It fucking should be. Which one was it?
I don't fucking remember.
Fucking piss in my own mouth. Come on, Andy.
You want to piss in your own mouth? Have you tried to do that? Because this is kind of going back to pissing on people. Do you enjoy, you get your rocks off pissing on yourself or in your mouth?
No, it's just an expression.
It's weird because, like, if you are getting your rocks off by pissing in your mouth, like, you kind of have to do one and then the other, Like, if you get excited about pissing in your mouth, then you have to wait till you're done pissing in your mouth, and you still have to be excited about having done that, and then your dick has to get hard, and then you have to turn it into a cum factory. Isn't that weird?
But what if you do it like first thing in the morning when your dick's already hard and you have to piss?
Yeah, that's true. I hate that. Ugh.
You
There's
hate
that.
the
What
morning
was that
rule?
Jim Carrey? When you have to pee, yeah. What was that Jim Carrey movie where like he goes to pee and he's holding like the top of the
Me,
hamper,
myself,
like to
and
deflect
Irene.
it?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've been there.
Why am
It's
I
like-
peeing? Why am I peeing like I was up all night having sex?
Yeah, like that. I always think of that whenever I have to pee, and it's like, or they did it in like the 40-Year-Old Virgin too. I
Yep.
think there was a bit in there where he was like pissing upward, and he's like 40, and like that's the first time that happened to you, dude. Like I thought that was a little weird, but it's weird to think Steve Carell was like our age, you know, like on a movie that seems like it was much more recent than it really was, isn't it?
I guess,
No?
yeah.
Like I don't think of Steve Carell as like my age. Like I don't think of him as like 40 something. Like he's like 60 now. Like that movie's so old. Anyway, all right. So there's a lot of. This is not right. We're gonna have a problem because these aren't the right chords. No capo. That's weird. So, all right, I'm just going to go over the lyrics with you. Backstroke lover, always hiding neath the covers till I talk to your daddy, he say. Right? So already off to... Did it say? See, these aren't the right lyrics. Nothing because you're down on the muffin and you're sure to be a change in your ways. Met a cheerleader, was a real young bleeder. You're right. Oh, my God.
So for those of you not
That's fucking
watching on the
filthy.
YouTube,
Was a real
like,
young bleeder. Oh, that's
Blair is rocking
reminisce. Best things in loving with a sister and a cousin always started with a little kiss. This. I don't know how to play that part. I don't know how to play that part. Nor did this thing give me the notes to bounce. Seesaw swinging with your balls in the school. Oh, boys in the school. I thought you said balls in the school. Swinging with your balls in the Didn't you guys? Like they had balls? Singing with your balls in the school and sunshine up in the air. Hey, diddle diddle with your kitty in the middle. I was swinging like I didn't care. These are not the right lyrics, but we're getting through. Dance at the high school dance with the Missy who was ready to play. Well, at least she was fun because she knew what she was doing. When I know love was here to stay. She told me to, everybody.
Walk this way.
Talk this way. Walk this way. Talk this way. Just give me a kiss. All right, we'll go a little bit more because this is all dirty. Schoolgirl sweeter with the sassy kind of sassy who swings way up your knees. Wait, schoolgirl singing with it. What are they doing here? See, this is what I do when I play songs like on the spot that people ask me at the bar. Like I just spend the whole time going, "Who wrote this? These are not the right chords." Schoolgirl sweeter with the classic kind of sassy little sassy kind of way up your knees. There was 3 young ladies in the school gym locker when I noticed they was looking at me. And he was a high school loser, never made it with it till the boys told him something to miss. And his next door neighbor with the daughter had a favor, so he gave her just a little kiss like this. Everybody. All right, that's all I'm going to do with that one. Those are not the right lyrics. It's saying A, it's saying C, A minor, G. That's wrong for you guys listening. What's another one?
For those of you guys tabbing at home,
So
look at
What's that?
So All My Life by Foo Fighters.
That's dirty?
Yeah, so what this website, I'm on glamour.com, says, what the lyrics really mean is the middle section is about eating pussy and the verses are kind of vague. That's all you got to know.
Did you say kind of egg or kind of vague?
Vague.
So here was a good example from last week. My wife brought up that heart-shaped box was all about Kurt Cobain's wife's pussy.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Something like that.
I don't know why his guitar always cuts out like that.
It's when he gets
It's
a higher
like-
chord.
Yeah, let me turn it down a little bit. Hopefully you guys can still hear it. Is that better?
Still cutting out.
I don't remember those chords, but all my life I got ready. All my life I've been searching for something. Something never comes, never leads to nothing. Nothing satisfies when we're getting close to the prize at the end of the rope. Yeah,
Not
that's
that
the
dirty.
vague part you said, right?
Yeah, not that dirty. Kind of vague.
What's that?
It's kind of vague.
You guys are all freezing. Am I freezing?
You kind of froze.
You froze for a
You
little
were
bit.
a little.
My computer sucks. I went online and looked at a site, and now it's frozen. So I don't think I could do that anymore.
No
But,
more 2 girls,
let's-
1 cup for you.
No more
Yeah.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Somebody pull up the lyrics whose computer still works when they do that. Maybe we'll go over the lyrics of that. It just seemed pretty vague, like you said, the Foo Fighter song.
Well, we can obviously come back to the topics of the song lyrics. But if you guys have dirty song lyrics you want Justin to play, go ahead and email them to us at backtalkus@gmail.com, and we'll get Justin to play them for you. Justin, are you better now?
Am I better?
He's good.
Yeah, I think you're better. Okay, cool. Because we had another topic we really wanted to get into. And Justin, what is that topic that we I think it's going to be a fun one to talk about.
Video games?
Yeah.
Evolution of video games.
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of old enough. We've been through a lot of it as it began. And like when I was a kid, I definitely played Pong. Because not that was the only thing out, but it was kind of retro at the time. And you could play that on an Atari if you really couldn't afford anything yet. The Nintendo was the first system I remember. Is it all the same for you guys too?
I remember the Atari.
Okay.
So I remember the Atari. My first system was the Nintendo. But I had a buddy who had a Commodore.
Commodore.
Yeah, I had a Commodore 64, yeah. It was like a computer.
Yeah, and there was almost like a Sims. I remember him having like almost like a Sims type of game. It was like the original kind of the Sims. You know, the Sims where you gotta like keep your fucking people alive and shit and feed them and whatever.
I never liked those games.
No.
Like the Tamagotchis that everybody had, like I just didn't like that. It was like way to make a video game like make you have responsibilities. Like, you kind of play video games for the opposite reason. Yeah.
We're gonna get there because the evolution of video games has basically made us work for free, but we're not there yet. But what was your first like? I guess whatever you had, what did you like to play, that kind of thing, when you were younger, and how is it so much different? Because like for me, it was Nintendo, right? And of course, Nintendo came with Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers, so everybody played that. You had the gun, and you shoot the birds, and if you missed the birds, the dog come up and laugh at you. It was
Yeah.
great shit. But like I was also, even then, not so much into that type of gaming. I was still a sports nut. Like I was always the, kids nowadays are inside playing video games all the time. I was always outside playing sports, playing street hockey, whatever. Hockey was my sport. So like I remember getting ice hockey for Nintendo was the first like game I loved. And it was like you look at it now and it's so terrible. But like you had the fights, you had the big guys, they would get in the fights, and then the fights was like the whole team, and they'd all come together, right? And then some dude would bop out of the fight, and it was just hilarious. And there was really only one way to score a goal, or a couple ways to score a goal. You could shoot from like forever, and it would go in, or like you shoot from the sides, and every time you shot from the sides, it went in. But that was like mine, and now you look at, how far. The hockey games have come and kind of the evolution for me through the hockey games, because they're my favorite, was NHL. Then you had Blades of Steel. Blades of Steel was awesome because it had the real fight scene, right?
That was the best. That was like the first good hockey fighting game was Blades of Steel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that the one where it was like Shing, Blades of Steel? Wasn't that like the intro of it?
I believe
Yes.
that's accurate.
Yes. And then, so you had that. And then I had Mario Lemieux hockey for the Sega Genesis.
Dude, that come with a puck?
It did. A signed
Yeah, my
Mario
brother had
Lemieux
that.
puck,
My brother had
which
that.
which was just a stamp. It wasn't an actual autograph from Mario.
Oh,
Lemieux.
really? I thought he was just signing them all at the Sega
yeah.
factory.
But it was, you know, I got a funny story about Mario Lemieux that we can get into another time. My wife may have used his final stick he ever used in a hockey game to close a cooler. We'll get to that another time.
Wow.
You know, you had that, and then you know you start moving up to the NHLs, right? EA Sports comes out, and you got NHLs, and I think like '94 was like the bomb, right?
Yep.
But you look at it now, and it's so almost graphically realistic. They went from, you know, '94, which was really fun, and then now you have, and then they went to games where it had like cut scenes, like if your goalie had a good save, it like had a cut scene of the goalie making a save. Now it's like amazingly realistic. I remember the first time like you could put a guy through the boards or through the glass, right?
Yep.
Check a guy, put him through glass. It's just crazy how they've gotten. But that's my kind of, you know, through what my favorite games are. Of course, you can get into the footballs and the first sports talk football, but I'll let you guys kind of get on what you were into, because Justin, I know yours is going to be totally different than mine, being a sports guy and playing the sports games. So, like Justin, what's kind of like what you were into, and how's that come along?
Well, I had to vie for Nintendo time with my older brother, so a lot of times I had to like watch what he played, and he's like with you guys. He would play Baseball Stars, Tecmo Bowl, all that stuff, and I'm like very aware of those games. Just wasn't my forte, but like he would play the Maddens and everything like that. What was a hockey game? They talked about it in Swingers, where like they took the fighting out of the game, but like you can make somebody's head bleed. Like what was that game? That wasn't Blades of Steel, was it? That was like NHL 2K or like whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember.
It wasn't NHL that if you injured a player, he would like bleed on the ice or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in that movie, he's like, make Wayne Gretzky's head bleed. And he's like, oh, look, his legs are kicking. Like, it's just a funny scene in the movie. He's like, the Kings suck in this fucking game. He's like, I took the Kings to the Stanley Cup. He's like, yeah, with the offsides off or something. Just like the little like shit, just like the little trash talking in that scene is just funny, because like if you played video games like competitively with somebody, and usually it's in a sports game, comes with the territory. It's like I was like, that sounds like my brother like and his friend talking while they're playing Tecmo Bowl for hours, you know. You ever hear of a game called Genghis Khan on Nintendo? It was a role playing game, which I never like either, where like you see basically stats, like almost like a Zelda kind of game, where it's like you're basically like doing everything but rolling a physical dice to do stuff, and like I just never liked that. But there was a game called Genghis Khan like that he played. But when I played, I had the Nintendo. It had Duck Hunt, like, and the other game, like you said, Mario or something. But it had a third game because mine came with the trackpad. If you remember the trackpad.
Oh, yeah.
Track and field, baby.
Yeah. So you do the hurdles, and eventually, like everybody did this, I'm sure. Like they would just stop running, they would just get on their knees and just hit it with their hands.
Yeah.
You know, like. Which you can tell where the Wii came from, like years and years later, because they were already working on that shit to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. But I had that, and then like when Sonic came out on Sega Genesis, I played that at a friend's house, and I was like, I need this for fucking Christmas. Like that just blew my mind. Fucking Sonic 1. So that's about how old I am. I play video games now. I have an Xbox, whatever, the previous system, not the new one, and I just it's really cool. You can get like a game. You can pay per month for like a game thing, and you can just download however many they have.
Game Pass.
And yeah. And like there's always something on there that I want to try. And I like first person shooters now. You know, I just like, you know, and I don't really want to build guns and shit. Like I said, going back to the responsibility, it's like I don't want to like have to have a lot to do. I want to play campaign. I don't want to play something with somebody online. But yeah, this is my favorite game of all time. Fallout, probably Fallout 3, 4, or New Vegas. If you guys out there are wanting to try it, I would recommend it. if you've been living under a rock and you have played video games up until recently and you haven't somehow played Fallout.
So
That's
are
one
you
of
a
the best
Call of
experiences
Duty
you'll
guy
have.
as a first person shooter? Are you a Call
Halo
of Duty
and Call of Duty, I didn't have systems both when those games like came out and they were really like huge. So I kind of missed the boat on that. I have gone back since and played Halo games and Call of Duty games, but no, I wouldn't say I know much about them. I played one or two of them, but they're cool.
Okay.
I mean, they're good, but got nothing against them. But I mean, Fallout, you could just play for hours and hours, and there's like
I've
at
never
least
played
3 or 4
Fallout.
games in the Fallout series that are good. Yeah, right now I'm playing Far Cry, which seems like it copies a lot off of Fallout, but
Which Far
Yeah.
Cry are you on?
5.
5.
It's actually the one with Gus Fring. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten to him yet, but Gus Fring from Breaking Bad's like in it. Not the character, but the actor.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is cool because he's also from Breaking Bad, right? I mean Breaking Bad. He's also from Better Call Saul, and there's another character named Nacho in Better Call Saul who was in Fallout 4. So I think there's something about Fallout really enjoying like the Breaking Bad universe because they've picked like 2 actors from there so far. So that's cool. I like
Just
when you
the
see like
Fallout.
actors. What's that?
It's just the Fallout.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
played Fallout. Never really got into Fallout.
Well, if you like Far Cry or whatever, you like Fallout because
Yeah.
it kind of seems like it's granddaddy when you're playing it. But I was telling Andy because he got me into Gotham. I just finished Jedi Fallen Order, and they get actors now, for like
Yeah.
motion capture. So like you're watching an actor the whole time, and the guy who plays the Joker in Gotham is like the kid you're playing as throughout the whole game. I just thought that was wild because that dude did such a good job playing the Joker on that show. But that's my lot in the video game stuff. You probably thought I had more to say, but that was it.
Tony, we haven't heard from you today.
He's laying on his
except
couch
for-
ready to fall asleep.
Except for, well, I don't know. I think that death is getting closer. It's still ongoing, but it's not there yet. But Tony, what's your video game kind of evolution?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I played a lot of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day, stuff like that. So just to see those games evolve, from the first ones where you're just going back and forth, up and down, not really doing anything, kind of like the Marios and stuff. It's just, I don't know, a lot of Street Fighter, stuff like that. So I did play a lot of the sports games, a lot of baseball. The Timco Bowl when it came out for Nintendo's back in those days, Ataris. So yeah, I mean they have definitely evolved over the years. More of your graphics and everything, just the context of everything, or storylines. I mean, I hate the kind where you gotta play all these little stupid storylines. You gotta go find this and find that. And come on, I just want to kill somebody. That's all I want to do right now.
So you mentioned Tecmo Bowl. Was that the one if you were Bo Jackson, like you won every fucking game?
Yeah, that was like the shit right there. You're Bo Jackson, the game's over. You just run every time and just score a touchdown.
Okay. So are you playing games like today, like now, or?
Yeah, I have. I have the newer Xbox. I don't have an X. I have an S because I'm not a huge gamer. I don't do like the Call of Duties or anything like that. So I just play more of just like your Madden, the show, since it converted over from PlayStation to Xbox. The show now, so
Madden's come a long fucking way from where it started, but it's still glitchy. I remember having one, and I've got a video of it somewhere up on my Facebook. But it was the it was the never-ending fumble. There was a fumble, and then next thing you knew, everybody's just piling on top, and the ball just kept going down the field, and everybody just kept. It was a never-ending fumble. It just wasn't ever going to end. I had to like actually get out, but like Madden came after sports. What was it? Joe Montana's Sports Talk football, and it was the next game with commentary. Which was cool. now it's you got the guys that are commentating from real life football and stuff, but it used to be Madden and Summerall, which everybody listened to Madden and Summerall watching Sunday football. Best duo in my opinion ever to call a football game. And then to have them in your game was pretty badass. So, so that's your kind of thing now. You're a Madden guy. You play online?
No, I don't play online. I just play, just the normal regular season against computer. If
Franchise
Marcus,
mode.
Super Bowl.
yeah, Marcus is listening. I won't play him because he'll kick my ass, which is true. Whatever, it's no big deal. But I used to whoop his ass all the time in baseball, so I guess we'd always just go back and forth.
Nice. Dustin, I think you're probably along the lines of I think you're more of a gamer than us, but I think you're a sports guy. But you're probably into other stuff. What do you got?
Well, I grew up on, like you guys are all saying, the Ataris, the Nintendos, N64. I never really got into the Sega Genesis, Sega series. I never really got into that stuff, but enjoyed them when I went over with my friends. That's all they had. But Grand Theft Auto was my evolution. Watching that evolution, starting from the beginning, you're at the top of the car, driving around, whatever, to what it's become now. I mean, they're in the middle of making GTA 6 now. I mean, they came out with Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar Games. But whole different aspect of that. But Call of Duty was always mine too. I started at COD 4. I've owned every one of them since the beginning, pretty much. I played a little bit of professional back in the day. Enjoyed every minute of it. But I mean, now as far as games, I play the sports games. I finally got into PC gaming, which iRacing comes into play there. That's pretty much why I bought my PC. But I've dabbled in a little bit on different like scenario games, like Mechanic Simulator, American Truck Simulator. Just having fun with them. No, but these are the games I'm like into now. I mean, I don't play I started like day one with Fortnite. Loved every minute of it, building the 1x1s, building up. Now you got these guys that turbo build and they're freaking sky high before you can even do it. I never got into it. Now they got no build mode. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying it again. But Call of Duty was always my go-to game. I mean, I worked summers. I was off in the winters. Me and a friend would wake up 8 o'clock in the morning, play till about noon, take hour break, play till about 5 or 6, hop back on and play till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Got really good at that game and I enjoyed it. I mean, I love what they're doing. I got into zombies a lot. I mean, zombies mode was always one of the main go-to modes in Call of Duty for me when Treyarch started doing all that. The storyline just got me there. I'm more of a storyline guy when it comes to it, but yeah, I played just about everything. I think I've played any genre of game that you wanna even talk about. But now it's iRacing, and I like the show just like everybody else. I've never been an Xbox guy. I've always had a PlayStation. I have every one of them. I have a collection of systems that I will always go back to and hook back up and play. My wife
don't
actually
give them
dared me.
away because everybody's chasing down the original Nintendo now. So.
Oh, I have that. Like a couple of years ago, we were in a blizzard. My wife dared me to hook up the Super Nintendo to our big screen, and I did it. She started playing Donkey Kong. She thought it was the best thing ever. So, but it's always good to go back and play the vintage games. I mean, like us older folk that had these older systems. I mean, it's always fun. Like I can go back to the original PlayStation. Twisted Metal was my go-to game for a while there. Twisted Metal to me made PlayStation. I mean, everybody wanted to play Twisted Metal is what I felt like if you're a PlayStation guy. But you can look at console wars, Xbox, PlayStation. I have no beef between either one because Halo was always fun to play. We would go to a friend's house and have 5 rooms hooked up to different computer or different screens and, LAN play together and battle it out and you meet in your own rooms and play. But, video games have just came along so far. I mean, no one's really touched into the VR. I haven't really played a lot of VR, but I have a lot of friends that had it and they love the VR aspect of gaming. But something I want to get into down the line. I mean, I don't think any one of us have probably really tried it. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers the Nintendo Virtual Boy. I don't know if anybody ever played that.
Oh my god.
But that
I
was.
never played it, but I remember it. Like,
I mean, I remember getting
didn't
that.
you
and
have
it's
the
like, this is
glove?
awesome.
Was there like the glove or something?
We had the glove, but the Virtual Boy, you put your head into it, and you had a controller, and you were like right there playing. I mean, it was, they had their own Mario versions. It was like all red and black. I mean, it was fun. I mean, but like Grand Theft Auto, like I was go back to that. The evolution of that to what they've gone to now. I mean, you're playing atop of it, then you kill your hooker and go to the strip club. Now you can play side games in it. Now they got the multiplayer version of it.
Which speaking of,
It's never ending.
We did touch on this, but we're gonna ask Justin again. Justin, have you played Grand Theft Auto?
Yes.
Have you fucked the hooker?
Nope.
Have
I've
you
seen
been to
somebody
the
do it,
strip
though.
club? Have you been to the strip club?
Only because it's part of the mission.
But I mean, just
For the articles.
just for the article. Just the evolution of gaming all around is just, growing up in it, a lot of these, I mean, you can go back to even the NASCAR games. Dirt to Daytona was my go-to game for, wasn't that on the original PlayStation, Blair?
I believe it was.
I mean, we would get together and try to beat each other on dirt just to see who could be better
Well,
at dirt.
I will tell you, I think my favorite early racing game, which is brought up racing games. Well, I guess my first was Pole Position. Like everybody played
Pole Position, yeah.
It was fun, right? But I think the one that I really kind of gravitated to and enjoyed the most in the early days was Andretti racing on Sega. You actually had a career mode where you would start off on dirt and work your way up into the IndyCar. I think it was the IndyCar. I don't remember. It's been a long fucking time, but that was a fun racing game.
Just like I said, the evolution of games now. I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit here with how it's real life stuff now. I mean, you look at like Farming Simulator and all these, and I have a friend that plays farming.
The fucking gun.
No, I have a friend that literally plays.
Justin.
What happened?
I have a friend that
What'd you
literally
get pissed off about? I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it every time unless I agree that you should be pissed off.
It's because I'm talking
He's
about
jumping
simulator
the
games.
fucking gun again.
On
I'll
what?
Jump the gun.
Mother Superior jumped the gun.
No, I mean we'll get into that in a little bit, but just watching the evolution. I mean, we all, like I said, we all grew up on it. I mean, to what we started with, to what we have now, it's crazy. It is. I mean, the PlayStations and Xboxes are trying to catch up to PC, but nothing will ever catch up to PC.
Right. Blair, see you
Oh,
over
hello.
there agreeing with a lot of what's going on, but you've got your own story. What's your story about video games?
It's really interesting that it seems to me all of us all started like in the same spot, right? Like, I heard Duck Hunt mentioned, Blades of Steel, Tecmo Bowl, Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, these are all games that were all mentioned earlier. And I definitely played all those. There's some real fucking classics that we've left out, though.
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Not one
GoldenEye.
person
Oh my God.
has mentioned fucking GoldenEye.
I can't
Never
believe
played
that. Yeah, dude. Every day after school at my friend's house.
Wasn't there like a glitch? You could be that one guy and you never get killed.
I don't.
You can get the
remember
golden gun.
That
Golden
was the
Gun, yeah.
Super.
That worked,
That
too.
was a Super Nintendo game.
64.
correct?
64.
Okay, because that was the same time Sega came out, right?
Right around that. Was that the Dreamcast?
No, it was after Dreamcast.
It was the
No, yeah,
Genesis
this was,
came
um,
out.
No, this was
I
way
went-
after the Genesis.
I never had, the only Nintendo system I had was the original Nintendo. After that, I went to Sega.
Same.
And then from Sega,
Yeah.
I went to Sony
Sega
Same
Genesis.
PlayStation. And then I went to the Xbox from there. So I missed
Yeah.
out on GoldenEye.
Nintendo 64 came after the Super Nintendo. And before the... What was the next Nintendo system after that? It wasn't Wii, right? Or something in between?
So you're at what? Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64.
What's after Nintendo
There
64?
was a GameCube.
GameCube. Yes, there was GameCube for Nintendo.
Good GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh, the death
Yeah,
is
I didn't-
coming for Tony. The death is coming.
Getting there.
Yeah, GoldenEye. We could do a whole show on that. I mean,
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
God,
definitely.
Fantastic
I
game.
forgot
What a-
about GoldenEye.
What a breakthrough! And then they did Perfect Dark, which was from the same company, and it just wasn't as good. But yeah, they really had something on GoldenEye. Apparently, with GoldenEye, they had the video game people on set of the movie, so you are just basically in the movie because
Yeah.
they were allowed to have free reign of the set and just take pictures and make the video game, so that it was out like before anybody saw the movie. So I thought that was cool. They did a lot
Yeah.
of work on that.
Super great game. And then, so if we go like stick with shooter games, so I then progressed. So similar to Andy, like I was Sony, and like Dustin mentioned, I still have my PS1, PS2. Currently hooked up in my apartment is my PS3 and PS4. They're both hooked up to my
Wow.
TV right now.
Yep.
Because there's games that I like to go back and play. Like PS3, like you never know. I might hop off of this podcast and play Rock Band or Guitar Hero tonight.
Can't you play
Love that.
PS3 games on PS4?
Nope.
And Rock Band was one of those that was kind of one of the first real interactive, non-controller, something different type of game.
Yeah, great game.
Yeah, Rock Band, Guitar Hero. Yeah, I mean, I remember playing that. We had 4 people here every weekend just jamming out,
Yep.
downloading the songs you knew. Like, hey, we got to play this
Yep.
song.
Yep.
You know,
Great game.
yeah,
Great game. And
all the way to
then
Rock Band 4.
oh yeah, all of them were really, really fun. And then I got into Call of Duty, like a lot. Like nobody mentioned midnight releases. Like
Yeah.
let's do this show of
Yeah.
hands for our audio podcast again. Show of hands if you ever waited in line for a midnight release of Call of Duty. Wow, only
No.
2 again.
I mean, only 2.
Apparently, Dustin and I are the same guy. That's a hint from the previous
Yeah.
question.
So,
You guys are
so
some
if
freaks, man.
If you just go to GameStop ahead of time and put your $5 down, I didn't have to get up and drive to the store
Yeah,
at
but
midnight.
the fun part was being there with the other gamers.
Yeah, community.
You know, talking about, hey, what's the first thing you're doing in this? Playing the campaign, going multiplayer. You know, that was half the fun. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, Blair has not said, yeah, I mean, you know, being with the community and like with how big Call of Duty got for years, I mean, it's slowly dying out just like any other older game, but they still have that diehard community, and that's what's fun about it. In my opinion, waiting for that midnight release, you get there, you know, a few hours before, and you're sitting there talking about it. You're all pumped up. I mean, I had an hour and a half drive home to get to play it. But you got home at 2 o'clock in the morning to put it in the system. You're not falling asleep for another 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, by the time you hopped on, I was already at level 20 and smashed it.
Right. You know, I was almost better off waiting for the delivery to come the next day at like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But I had to have it. I mean, those midnight releases, and even like what they're doing now in Call of Duty, you know, Fortnite made it to where it was all free content and all that. When those map packs came out and you had that season pass and you had to download it, there was no more like wait to have that map pack download so you could just get up there and play those 4 new maps that they let out.
Yep. Yeah, so I played Call of Duty and I got like super into it. We, you know, just like everybody else, we had a group of guys. There was a group of 6 of us that we played multiplayer together. Well, there was probably a group of 8, but there was always 6 of us online. You know, it was like 8 to 10 guys, and there was always 6 of us online. And so our jam was hardcore capture the flag. That was our game, and we got so good at it that everybody had their roles. Right? We had our defensive guys, we had our offensive guys, we had our flag grabber, and then we had the guy that would like protect the flag grabber on the way back, and as soon as he had scored, the next guy would grab it.
Yep.
So we had a ton of fun with that. At one point, I was ranked top 100 in the world at hardcore capture the flag. I was like 92nd or something in the world.
Yep.
And we just had so much fun. And there was another squad that we'd go up against that it would be really tough. And, but most times if we get thrown in a room of randoms, that first round, because it was best out of 3, remember?
Yep.
Best out of 3 rounds. That first round, we'd go grab 3 flags, just 30 seconds. First round's over. We got our 3 flags. Second round, we would fuck around and get our score streaks built up. And we might get a flag or 2. We might get all 3, but we're going time limit on this thing,
Yep.
And just to get our score streaks. And then third round, all we would do was just hit them with score streaks the whole time.
Just
and
have fun.
Okay, is everybody out of score streaks? Yeah, we're out of score streaks. Okay, cool. 3 flags. Bing, bing, bing. And that was the fun of it. And then I got really big into racing games and then a lot of other games. So, we talked about sports games and fighting games and all this other stuff. For me, staying on topic of evolution of the game, for me, it's about the career mode. So like the show, I've never played one game of the show as my beloved Milwaukee Brewers. Not one fucking game. I created the guy and then got the guy up to the pros and then got traded to the Brewers. So now I play with the Brewers, right? Because it's all about the story. It's all about the guy. Like, for example, I don't like basketball. I don't fucking care about basketball. I don't watch NBA.
Yep.
I don't keep up with it. But I will play NBA 2K because the story's that good.
Yep.
And when it comes to racing games and story, in my opinion, the best story racing game, NASCAR Thunder 2003. That's the one with Dale Jr. on the cover.
Yep.
Because in that game, if you'll remember, you get your race winnings and you choose where to spend it. Am I going to R&D aerodynamics? Am I going to R&D engine stuff? Am I going to build a new engine? Am I going to rebuild this one? Like all of these things, it's all about the story for me. So like fighting games, I got into EA Sports' UFC games. I don't fucking watch UFC. I don't fucking know anything about UFC, but I liked building the character. And, you take that into the evolution of games, and not to put the cart before the horse, because, you got yelled at for doing it. But nowadays, with these simulator games, right? Your farm sim, your American truck sim, car mechanic sim, iRacing even, there's story to it and character building to it, but it's evolved. It's not the same old Jack, right? Because if it was the same old Jack, none of us would be interested in it. Same with Grand Theft Auto. There's so much story building. Red Dead Redemption, there's so much story building to it that nowadays because back then, right? Like the first 2K games, you had to make choices and it was like a choose your own adventure book, but there's only 2 or 3 different fucking outcomes. Where nowadays, iRacing, for example, I really like Asphalt, hence the nickname, Asphalt Guy, right? You're not going to catch me in a 410 sprint car and trying to be really good in a 410 sprint car running Volusia. You're not going to see it fucking happen. You're not going to see me in a dirt late model ripping it up at Concord. It's not that's not the story I want to play. But you might see me in a truck at, Charlotte, right? Pick a track, whatever, because that's the story I want to live. That's the simulator I want to do. And same with American Truck Sim, right? Anytime I play American Truck Sim, I've got to have that long nose Peterbilt because I think that's the cool looking shit, right? You're not going to catch me in an automatic Volvo. I need a long nose Pete that fucking sounds cool and looks good. If I played Farm Simulator, right? I'd have to have cool shit going down on my farm, right? Just fucking making soybeans all day. I don't care. Car mechanic simulator. I want to get to the point where you get to custom build hot rods. I want to build custom hot rods.
And that's the fun part of that stuff is, if you can't afford to do it, you can do it in a video game.
Absolutely.
So Tony, I'm gonna cut Blair off before he fucking And gives away the horse.
Da, da,
the whole
da.
fucking horse.
By the way, if anybody says Lawnmower Simulator is a good game, I'm fucking over it.
Tony, you're
Never played it.
You're a guy who plays a lot of Madden and stuff like that, and plays the season mode. When you're playing Madden, are you doing the season mode, or are you creating a player, like Blair said, in order to kind of create your story? Like which way are you going here?
I go season mode. I don't create a player, do all that stuff. I just keep on, original teams and just do that and play the season. So
you're about as exciting when you play video games as you are on this podcast.
yeah, but at least I'm comfortable.
The thing is I'm kind of with Tony and Madden. I play the more the franchise mode, but when it comes like to the show, I play the road to the show.
And
That's all I
what
play.
about that? Tony plays a lot of show too. So are you just gonna be the Reds and go and win the World
jump right-
Series?
The
Because you'll
Series on the
never
Reds.
win the fucking World Series playing as the Reds unless you make a lot of trades.
On easy mode.
It's not on
But-
easy mode.
So Justin, like you play this Fallout, which I'm not familiar with, right?
Either.
So, obviously, it's like more of like a campaign type of mode. I guess you're playing, but there's still a story that goes along with it. So, is it the story along the way that kind of draws you into it, or what is that?
I mean, the under par Fallout games since the third one that I started liking, it's not the story that makes it bad, it's just the technical side of it and like the stuff they change or whatever. The story's good. I mean, essentially you wake up in a Fallout shelter as a child and then you get older, and then you go out and you have missions where it's like, like it's like post-apocalyptic DC. So like you're in the game and you're like, there's like fucking like the skeleton of like
Tony, are
the
you
Washington
fucking right
Washington
now?
Monument.
Like, what is,
He's
He's fucking the cat. Oh my god. Like,
Oh yeah, there's a cat.
What is going on?
If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, there's a cat now.
With a fan
Cute.
twirling.
Well,
Yeah.
at first he was just peeking his head in, and then he was like pumping, like he was fucking something, and then the cat showed up.
And then you say Tony's boring. Like that was one of the best things that ever happened.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
like,
yeah.
Tony, that's the best thing you've ever done on this podcast. Is fuck your cat.
I want to fuck my cat. The Washington Monument is like there. It's cool. Like the Fallout 3, because you're in the remains of Washington D.C. And they were supposed to do one. I don't know if it's Fallout, but they were supposed to do something where somebody came in and did all of Philly. Like they got all the nooks and crannies so they can make that a place that they planned a game in. I would have liked to play whatever that game was because to walk around in like a city you're used to in a video game, it's kind of cool. Because I went to DC later after I played Fallout, and I was like kind of had a backwards situation. I was like, this reminds me of Fallout. Instead of like Fallout, like this reminds me of DC, So I thought that was cool. But yeah, Fallout's got a great story. It's doesn't make or break it. It's really just the VATS, they call it, which is the type of system you're playing in. That's like your weaponizing system.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Right.
So
Just give it a try.
did anybody dabble in on Battlefield at all?
I did.
No.
I played the World War I game around
How about
last
Tom?
year.
Played the beta and that's it.
How about Tom Clancy's versions of games? Anybody get into any of them?
I like
Control
the
for
Splinter
Rainbow
Cells.
I think I got one of those. I think I got one of the Tom Clancy games in like the Best Buy bin where they're like games are for like $5 or whatever.
Right.
I think I got one then, but like, yeah, it's but.
My friend
a
got
lot
me
of
into
it-
Ghost Recon. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't a game I got into 100%.
I like Splinter Cell a lot. That game's like
Splinter
about
Cell.
10 years old. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of it for us, has been console games. I mean, there's been the early days of PC games. Like, I remember a buddy of mine had one of the original Apples, and he had oh hell, what's that German fucking Wolfenstein, right? Is that right?
Yep, Wolfenstein.
He had the original Wolfenstein on PC, and PC was kind of the originator. But for us, it was like all. And I had some PC games too. I remember having an old IBM and having like a.
How about
hockey
Age of
game.
Empires? You get any of the Age of Empires?
Me, no.
Okay.
I think my brother did.
I know it was out
Microsoft,
there.
right?
I mean, yeah, I think it was a Microsoft thing.
Yeah, I had some PC games like a hockey and a baseball. They were kind of garbage. I mean, but now there's websites like you can go on
Yeah.
and play all the old fucking
Emulators.
yeah, the old computer games and that kind of stuff. And for us, it's been consoles. But like you look at where gaming has come now, and how many. We'll do a show of hands for all the podcast listeners again. How many people play games on their phone now? So that is 4 out of 5 that play games on their phone. I mean, anywhere we go now, we're playing games, and they're not great games, right? They're kind of like I play a lot of spades. I play I've got Office. You know,
My nieces and nephews got me into Stumble Guys.
Yeah, it's toilet time games, right? Like you got nothing going on, but we're always attached to our phones, so we're always on a game or something. But you got that, but then the PC gaming world has come back and has come back strong. The thing I don't understand at all whatsoever, and you guys touched on some of these games, okay, is the PC world has come back strong, but the big things on the PC world is all these fucking games that you can play that if you just went out and got the fucking job, you would get paid instead of sitting around wasting your fucking time playing it and not getting fucking paid. Like
all I'm gonna
simulator.
say with that,
let me be a fucking mechanic on a goddamn computer and not get a fucking dime for it.
All I'm gonna say on that is if I went and worked on your car, it would be fucking running.
Yeah. There is a game on the Sega CD. You remember that one? Remember the Sega CD?
Yeah.
There was a game that Penn and Teller did. And part of the game it was called The Drive or something. And the whole thing is just a simulation of driving from LA to Vegas. Like the whole fucking game. It's like, but it's like the humor of Penn and Teller. It's funny, but like if that, like today, like what Andy's saying, like that could just be a game, a popular game. It's like let's drive from fucking somewhere to somewhere, and like nothing happens.
And it's on your phones too, right? And this is these dumb ass simulator games are on your phone. Fucking goat simulator. Like you want to sit around and be a fucking goat. And be
There's a new game on PlayStation now. It's called Stray. You play as a fucking cat.
Well, I figure with the Goose Game, must be the same people.
Well, that might be a little but these whole I don't understand the mindset behind all these.
I never really.
There is on your phone, downloadable on your phone. There is Office Simulator. You do a fucking office job.
Because those are the people that don't have a job. I'm kidding. I'm not trying to be stereo there. But no, like with me, with car mechanic simulator, I play that. I play American Truck Simulator. I play Farming Simulator. It's just something
so
that.
Why don't you get some fucking land and grow some fucking beans for me?
Because I ain't paying $1 million an acre for land to go out there and drive up and down the field for 4 hours and then wait 3 months to go frickin' harvest it.
Oh my God! Yeah, those games, those Zynga games or whatever.
If you save your subscription to Farm Simulator long enough, you could buy a couple acres and go get me real fucking corn.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, but I got my other job. But like American Truck Simulator, I mean, We were actually talking about it earlier. Not very often you can say you're driving through Montana, driving through California. You can just go drive wherever you are, and you got the scenic
Now,
outlook.
If there was like,
It's time lapsing.
if there was like strip club customer simulator or
Well, it's probably out there.
porn
Leisure Suit Larry.
simulator,
How about that game?
Or no, there was a Playboy. There was a Playboy game.
Why don't you make the game then, Andy?
Well,
make
there was
that game.
Leisure Suit Larry. That was a popular game that friends' dads played.
Yeah, but there was a Playboy game where you were actually like you were Hugh Hefner, and you would take pictures of the girls, and you would have sex with the girls, and
You would get stupid and marry not one but three of them.
yeah. But like Blair, you're a big simulator guy. What is the draw to doing a day job as a fun leisure activity?
Well, I think Dustin touched on it. Is, you know, like the money is a big thing of it, right? So like Car Mechanic Simulator, for example. Yeah, like doing oil changes on customers' cars in the beginning of the game, I will admit, is not the most exciting shit on planet Earth.
No.
But once you get the money and the XP and the story, and you get built up to go to the junkyard and buy an old clapped out hot rod and rebuild it and, you know, put a big supercharger on it and like all this other stuff. Like, I don't have the funds to, in real life, stop by your local pick and pull and yank out a 1969 Dodge Charger and rebuild the engine and, you know, fucking paint it, you know, purple and put a big fire breathing engine in it.
Build your dream car.
Yeah, like I don't have the money or the space or, you know, now time, obviously you know, you're spending time on the game, but like also like Dustin said, it's a time lapse thing, right? Like I rebuilt a motor in Car Mechanic Simulator the other night in 45 minutes. I took a motor apart and put it back together. Like my real race car, it takes me 45 minutes to get the fucking head off of it, let alone fucking fixing anything and putting it back together. Like that's just fucking taking the head off is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you know, you know, like so I dated a girl once that's making the same point as Andy makes of, you know, if you spend as much time on this as you did doing it in real life, you could make some money doing it. Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Not that cool of an idea. But this is back to Guitar Hero, right? Because I've got fucking hundreds, if not thousands of hours into Guitar Hero. And her point was, if you'd spend that much time learning how to play real guitar, maybe you could make a couple of bucks doing it. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. Like, I want to hang out in my living room, fucking with my plastic guitar, screaming fucking Metallica lyrics into this plastic microphone and fucking jamming on this little motherfucker. Like, if I really wanted to learn a skill, like, I'm fucking lazy, dude. Like learning a skill sounds like suck. And I'm not like, that doesn't sound like fun. But like, okay, oh no, I failed Master of Puppets. Fuck it. Let's go play Pink, You and Your Hand tonight. Like, I know I could beat that shit on easy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you on that. I mean, back like when I think it was Rock Band 2, Cody Cambria was Welcome Home song on there. We got done playing pool one night, and me and my wife and a friend of ours got back to our house. It's like, we're drunk as shit. And we're playing that in Expert. We fell in 10 seconds. It's like, well, that was a bad idea. But, I mean, we had fun doing it. To me, like, Guitar Hero Rock Band was, like, probably the most, like, exerting game I've ever played. You know, you're constantly like, oh, God, I got to do this. You know, you got to help your band. You got to help your team.
Yeah, but like a real guitar, like that shit makes your fucking fingers hurt.
Yeah, ask
like,
Justin.
fucking...
How many calluses you got in your fingers?
Permanent calluses, guys. Permanent calluses.
Yeah, like that shit fucking hurts. Like it hurts really bad, and
it's not. Yeah, it was never fun learning guitar. At least my experience. Not like how fun it is like playing and sucking the very first time you pick up one of those games. So
yeah, like that.
I don't know why. Like I don't think they had a musician on staff like at all that understands how a guitar works when they invented the actual guitar part. It actually it confounds me as a musician. Like,
What
but
was really
but
cool about them games though is they actually came out with the pro guitar.
yeah, yeah, I was aware of that. But there was a game that my friend played. I think it was called Frequency. It was on like one of the. It was before. And it was just a controller thing, like a Dance
Yeah.
Dance Revolution kind of thing. So they had those on controllers with like years and years beforehand.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time before they put it on like a graduated version of like a controller. But they came up with a guitar, and they're like, well, you just do this on the guitar, and like it's not really about the guitar. Like you don't play guitar like that. It's like actually completely opposite.
Yeah.
But, like, why they did it like that? It's like I don't know why, but I like both. I like playing guitar and I like playing Guitar Hero, and I don't think that there's any similarities at all.
Correct.
No.
So interesting factoid on that is a good friend of mine. His brother-in-law was, they're divorced now, but was the drummer of Disturbed. So I got to meet, I got to meet those guys and like go backstage and all this other stuff.
It's a good band.
Great band. And
saw them open up for STP.
Hell yeah. And at this time, like Guitar Hero and Rock Band were like a big thing, right? And I asked Mikey, the drummer, I'm like, I bet you fucking slay at drums on Rock Band. And he's like, believe it or not, like I wrote that shit and I can barely fucking play it on the fucking video game. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, that's not how you play the instrument. Like he's like, the way you play a video game. Yeah, there we go. There's a fucking Rock Band Fender.
I actually have the Starburst one too, but
if you guys are on the Apple podcast or wherever you find your popular podcast, you might want to head over to YouTube. Dustin is showing off the axe right now.
Hell yeah.
This is my baby.
But he said that he can't fucking play it. Same thing that you said, Justin. He can't play it because that's not how you play the instrument. And interestingly enough, Dan, the lead guitar player from Disturbed, when they played Rock Band, Dan had to play drums and Mikey had to play guitar.
Oh, really?
Because Mikey doesn't know how to play guitar like that well in real life, and Dan's not a professional drummer, right? So like the nuances of knowing how to play that instrument, like you don't have to retrain your brain. It's like, okay, I'm going to play this video game, so you get into video game brain.
Yeah, you don't really like since then though. You could tell like other companies have glommed on the idea. Like, you watch enough YouTube like me, you'll see an ad for everything. And like some of the ads I saw was like, I don't remember what they call it, but it's like learn guitar in a month, and it's like, all right, like I don't think guitar and foreign languages are meant to be like fast tracked. Like, just this fucking generation of like people is like, no, like not everything happens fast. Like,
I want everything now.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's like when you guys were talking, like we're talking about Rock Band. You had your 4, like for the drums, you just had the 4. Guitar Hero came out. What was it? World Tour? Is that what they called theirs? They came out with their drums. They added the 2 little cymbals.
The cymbals, yeah.
We actually got it, and my wife was our drummer, and she's like, the cymbals are it just added that in, and she couldn't figure it out. I mean, and in the best way possible, it took forever for her to. Oh, there's 2 more colors here I got to play with.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I mean, you almost got to retrain your brain. It's that muscle memory that comes down to play as you do in any video game that we've all played. We all know the buttons we got to hit.
But do you have to retrain your brain to plow a field?
Yeah, dude, because what do you need to do first? Like, do I need to lime this shit or do I need to fucking plow it? Like, does it need fucking tilt? Like, what the fuck does it need, bud?
I think what Andy wants to play is he wants to play the droid game for the U.S. government. Or whatever that's called.
I just want to play. So, if you give me Stripper Simulator...
They're probably out there. You just got to go find them on the dark web.
Give me some porn simulator where, like...
Dude, they have them.
Well,
you go watch any porn. You go watch porn on any... You go watch porn online, and actually, I watch like movies on like a site that you shouldn't because it's like you're not paying for it, but you still get like ads like come in 30 seconds by playing this game, and it's like Yeah, they're out there.
Oh, so
And all
I
you
never,
have to do
like-
is get that VR headset.
I never-
VR.
Can you tell me can you tell me the websites you're using to find these ads?
I can't because it's websites where you can watch free movies, and like that's like
Yeah.
Like
it's not-
free movies, like free porn movies?
So, you know,
No, like free like Spider-Man Far From Home and shit. Like 'cause if you don't want to go to the theater.
Do you watch free porn too, though?
Not really. No, I mean not enough to like say like I do, but like I see these ads like on free movie sites, and it only has to be
You
porn.
have a good imagination if you're not watching porn.
Yeah.
it's all the strip clubs he visions. So,
Like I said,
Tony, you haven't said much. Like, do you play Home Depot Simulator?
No.
Let's build something together.
Like, you don't go home from work and then go play like Home Depot Simulator,
No. I don't know why anybody would do something like that.
or like Cashier Simulator, because there is a Cashier Simulator.
Gas
my
Station
God.
Simulator is a kick-ass game, by the way.
yeah, actually, it's pretty fun.
That's a fucking kick-ass game.
Me and Blair need to get together more and just talk about video games, I think.
Gas Station Simulator. I want to go back to when I was 16, 17 years old working at a fucking gas station. Like,
There's
Buddy,
Toll Booth
loved it.
Simulator, all that stuff.
Yeah, I fucking loved working at a
When the
gas station.
aliens show up, you just don't know what to do.
Dude, you fucking freak out when the aliens get there.
I could see like iRacing be, like, no, none of us are going to drive a NASCAR, or
Whoa, easy. Don't fucking
Flight-
shit on my dreams like that.
flight simulator. Dude, you had your time in NASCAR and you blew it.
Oof.
Jackman couldn't jack up a car. Like,
So the thing is, I got to ask you, Andy. I mean, did you ever get into any flight simulators? You're never gonna go fly
well,
a
that's what I
fucking
was going to
plane.
say. That's what I was going to say, right? Like, I could see flight simulator being a fun. Because no, I'm never going to get a chance to fly a real plane, right? Like, yeah, that and like,
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, any game you play that has a career mode is a simulation game. You're simulating yourself in the game. Like you're playing
Right.
MLB The Show and you put yourself in that person. You put your
but
name
I'm
on
also
there.
never going to be a Major League Baseball player.
I'm never
If
going
I
to be a
wanna
farmer.
I'm
never going to be a car mechanic.
If I want to go get a CDL or the certifications to be a mechanic, I could go to,
Would you do
classes
it,
and
though?
Do that.
Would you do it?
I have no interest in it.
See, like I'm looking at like me and Blair. Maybe driving a semi is a dream job when we were 5 years old.
But like he plays car mechanic.
He's learning how to build his race car.
No, he's not. You click on the thing and it tells you put a screw in here. Like,
Well,
that's-
it tells you where to put it, but you're learning how to build a motor. In
but
an
he already
aspect, you're
knows
building a
this.
motor.
He does it already. So, and he was a NASCAR mechanic. So
He
I
was a
can't
jack
see
man.
how- I can't see how. Yeah, but back then, back when Blair, and this is talked about a lot on NASCAR radio. Back then,
Right.
when Blair was on the team,
Right.
he wasn't just a jackman, right, Blair?
No, right. He was everything.
Correct.
I wasn't trying to be mean on that, Blair, by saying you were just a jack man.
I'm fucking offended.
I know you are.
Well,
Fuck
now he's still a jackman, just in a different way.
Well, right.
Mainly on OnlyFans.
Only in Canada.
Seriously though, this game, Titanic, Venture Out of Time, really good if you want to go on YouTube and watch somebody play this. Believe it or not. Just wanted to break
Okay,
up the.
so-
Okay, that's a whole other aspect of gaming.
I've got one with that. Has anybody played the Deadliest Catch game?
I've heard of. I've
No.
never played it. I've always wanted to.
Okay, great game. Fantastic fucking game. Huge time waster. Like, we've all seen the TV show Deadliest Catch by now, right? Okay. The video game is the exact same thing as the fucking TV show. You get on the fucking boat, you fucking tutor out there in the fucking ocean, you drop your fucking pots, you fucking loop around, time lapse, you loop around, you fucking pick up your fucking pots, and you take your fucking catch into town. Fantastic game.
So are you the captain or are you like a
Yeah.
greenhorn?
No, you're the captain. Well, I mean, I assume you could be the greenhorn, but like I don't
You're
want to.
everything.
Right, but I don't want to, like, when I'm playing a video game, a simulation video game, like, I don't want to do the shit work that I wouldn't do in real life, right? Like back to Car Mechanic Simulator. Like, I want to build fucking bitchin' hot rods and, like, paint them up fucking cool and, like, all this other shit. I don't want to go to school for fucking 15 years and, you know, figure out how to fucking paint a fucking car. Fuck all that. Honda just sucks. Shit stinks. It's all over
you.
you.
Wouldn't play Janitor Simulator.
No, sounds like zero fucking fun cleaning up fucking barf. Fuck that.
I did hear him say he loves Lawnmower Simulator.
Fuck. Okay. So that's where I draw my fucking line. Is on
I'm with you.
This is where I draw my fucking line. First of all, I live in an apartment, okay? Because I don't like doing fucking yard work. Second of all, if you really wanted to bash your face against your microphone, you could take lessons from Justin.
Right.
Third of all,
You don't need a simulator for
wanted
that.
to fucking cut grass, go the fuck outside. Go the fuck outside. Like, I swear to Jeebus that you could fucking walk down to any neighborhood, USA, and I bet you I could roll up to fucking Tony's house, because I've seen him outside. I bet you I could roll up to fucking Tony's house tomorrow morning when he gets off work and be like, hey, man, I've been playing this video game Lawnmower Simulator, and cutting grass looks bitchin'. You got a lawnmower? I noticed you got some grass. And he'd be like, yeah, fucking knock your goddamn socks off, kid. I give a fuck. Go ahead, like, don't cut your foot off, asshole. Like, have fun. And like, well,
Right.
And then Tony would be like, so what are you going to charge me to cut your grass? Like, nothing, dude. I paid $49.99 for the video game. Like, I'll give you $3 to cut your lawn. No, fucking give me the $3, asshole. Like, lawnmower's in the garage. Right? Like,
Now-
that's the dumbest fucking game on planet
No,
Earth.
and you mentioned it earlier. That's why I brought it up, because there are those games. It's like, why?
Cashier
For those simulator
Simulator.
games. What?
Which one?
Cashier Simulator.
Right?
Gas Station Simulator is badass. And there's a
No,
little-
cashier. He said cashier, not gas station.
If all you're doing, like, I've never played Cashier Simulator, but if all you're doing is grabbing an item and running it by the badoop, that's fucking lame. Like,
That's what it is.
I got fucking self checkout at the
But
sheet,
then you have
I'll
to
just
make
do that
change.
tomorrow.
And maybe that's the thing that they have it, because people can't
That's
fucking
probably
make
a
change
training game.
anymore.
That game sucks. Fuck that game.
Anybody been to a McDonald's and paid them in cash and they don't know how to give you change?
Yeah, these people need
I don't know what
these
that
people
is.
need math simulator.
What do you mean? You
games
walk
at
into a
home.
McDonald's nowadays and they're like, "Oh, go use the kiosk and order your food. We'll bring it to you."
Yeah, you can't even
Yeah,
fucking order it for a person now.
I fucking tap my shit on shit. That's how I fucking pay for shit nowadays.
I
don't
listen.
fucking pay cash.
The amount of help you get from the people that are in those jobs now, I'm fine with, like, having a kiosk that I could do everything with, because you get no personality from them. They don't want to be there. They just want to check their phones.
Did
The
you
amount
find
of-
everything okay?
Hey,
You all doing okay
try
today?
Try going into one and having an online order that you're picking up, and they just fucking stare at you and don't even fucking acknowledge you're there.
Nope.
See, this is why I buy everything. So, like, I buy everything online, by the way. Okay? Like, I don't fucking go buy anything at any store because I want to avoid as much human interaction as possible. The more
Would you
He's
say-
on a podcast.
Would you say
He's
the
on a-
same?
he's on a podcast talking to four idiots.
yeah, well,
Would
none
you
of
say the
dickheads
same
are here.
thing? Would you say the same thing about 20 years ago people, or is that more of like a choice for today people? Like, have you become more misanthropic, or has it always been kind of your way?
Like, I've always been kind of that way, but now that there's been all these developments, like, I don't have to leave my apartment. Like, I want food,
Yeah.
like, I can Instacart that shit.
It's easier for you to just say, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like, I want a sandwich, like, I can fucking DoorDash that shit. Like, the sandwich that I was eating when I joined this podcast 14 hours ago, I DoorDashed that sandwich. And then, like, if, I go to bed tonight and I notice that I'm running low on socks, like, I could just fucking go on Amazon and there'll
Yeah.
be fucking socks here tomorrow.
Isn't that great about Amazon? Not that this is an ad for them, but like the one thing you don't get out of Netflix with your fucking subscription is like free shipping. You know, at least with like Amazon Prime, if you want to watch their shit, you at least get free shipping when you order on there.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
fantastic.
cool. So like, I'm gonna cancel Netflix, but not even a question. But I'm not gonna cancel Amazon because I always consider the free shipping thing and how much I use that.
Right.
So Netflix is out easily until like Netflix starts having like fucking like some kind of like online store. They're gone. But anyway, have you guys ever played the game, the Forrest Gump video game?
Which game was that? And I was really hoping you'd bring that up.
Did you run a lot?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, since Justin brought it up, I was I think we kind of hit that number today. Like, wow.
I think we hit our longest one.
Shit. Thank you for everybody who stuck with us today because, wow, we went a long time. But we covered a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff. We had an awesome guest today.
Yeah, man.
With Blair. I hope he comes back and joins us.
Yeah, come on back.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
He probably needs a nap after this, but
instead of coming back next time, he's just going to do a podcast simulator.
Yeah, we'll do a simulator next time.
So real quick, we'll go around the horn. Let everybody give their final thoughts, last words. Justin, let's start with you.
All right, I'm going to keep it short. I got a new website. Check me out if you can find it. It's Justin the Performer. You can find out all my stuff without having to go on Facebook if that's not your thing. And just have a good week, everybody. Thanks for listening to this super long episode. Thank you, Blair, for being a wonderful guest. And thanks to you guys. It's always fun spending time with you.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Tony, you haven't said a fucking word all fucking night, so might as well say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye.
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 You've got mail.
Let's do lunch.
No, I mean, yeah, it sucked missing last week. But yeah, this week was still, I'm not as bad as I was. So hopefully next week I'll be better and I'll be back to my normal self of talking your ears off. So yeah, tune in, we'll find out.
Yeah, and hopefully death doesn't finish by next week.
You get the hurt of it.
Dustin, final thoughts, last words.
Not much. Just like I always say, go visit your local track. Have a good time at it. Have a good Labor Day, everybody. Before we let out our next show, Labor Day will pass. Labor Day week, I will be celebrating that in Boone, Iowa at IMCA Super Nationals. It's right now there's 890 cars pre-registered. It's going to be a blast. They always put on a good show. Can't wait for it. If you ever have a chance, check out Blair on his Facebook, on his Twitch. Become a supporter. Hot Pass is awesome. You get an awesome video every day of him just talking crap to you. love the guy to death. I mean, Blair, thanks for coming on. I mean, it's been an awesome time talking with you. I think I learned that me and you kind of like the same video games. We might need to hook up and game up a little bit. But no, check out Blair. Like I said, I'll be in Boone, Iowa pretty much all week next week. Have a good Labor Day, everybody. Have a good week.
All right, thank you, Dustin. And to our guest who was phenomenal, probably our best guest yet, Mr. Asphalt Guy BP himself, Blair. Final words and last thoughts, bud.
I just want to thank you guys for inviting me to come on here. Had a blast. I want to thank all the listeners and all the supporters of BACC Talk. Super great podcast. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Look forward to being invited back. This is one of the first podcasts I've ever been on, and it's been a marathon, but it was a ton of fun. Super long podcast, but super ton of fun, and look forward to being invited back the next time. And he plugged his website, so I'll plug mine. BlairRaces.com. That is BlairRaces.com. By the way, my streams are very PG. There is not a lot of fucks and shits on this stream, so tell your kids to come check it out as well. And as always, stay safe, stay fast. I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you, Blair. Blair was an awesome guest today. Thanks to all the guys, as always, for being here. We covered a lot of shit. I don't even remember half the shit that we talked about. There was a lot of stuff, but it was really cool. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, tits up.